Welcome to Mars Embassy. This is my unboxing video for the SpaceX's Starlink internet service. This is the RV version that I'm unboxing here at Starbase, Texas. We're here in front of the Starbase, Texas sign. In Boca Chica, Texas, in the parking lot. That's my Tesla. This is the box that the Starlink kit comes in. It's not very heavy, about 10 pounds, but it's adequate. When you open the box, you have a nice little spacer panel that has the SpaceX logo on it, and a clamshell holding the parts together. The aluminum base is nice, but there are no feet on it, no rubber feet. Would be nice if they would have some rubber feet on it, so that if you place it on a surface that can get scratched, it would protect it. The dish itself already has the cable pre-installed in it, but it's easy to slide out if you need. The instruction panel is very simple, very easy. It comes with a 75-foot cable. The Starlink dish just slides into the stand and clicks in. There's a button you can push on the pole to release, to unclick it and unslide it. The router itself is very minimal. It just has 2 plugs on the bottom and just one single power light on it. The dish itself is heated for the winter time. You plug the dish into the router. Very simple watertight connectors for both the power and the connection cable. The RV version is a 110 version. As far as the hardware goes, there is absolutely no difference between the RV version and the home version. The only difference is what you pay monthly on the account. The RV version, your monthly payments, you can suspend it on the months you're not using it. So it's great to have and just use whenever you have. The cost for the equipment is about the same. There really isn't much difference. It may look that way because you are ordering the RV version and not putting a $100 deposit down. The dish is actively heated as needed in the wintertime to keep the snow and ice off. Hooking up the Starlink could not be easier. You have 2 cables to plug in, and you plug it into your power source. Again, 110. It would be really nice if SpaceX would make a actual RV version that ran off of 12 volts. But seeing how much this unit draws as it is, that might be a little bit more difficult. If you have the original Starlink, there are some hacks to the power brick that requires taking it apart to make it work off of 12 volts instead of off of 110, but nothing officially from SpaceX. Plugging it in to a AC outlet, when first turning it on and on boot up, I am seeing the unit drawing about 74 to 75 watts of power. And this is only for about 20-30 seconds while the system boots up. Once it finishes booting up, it seems to operate around 40 watts of power normally. It takes a few seconds for it to boot up. Ideally, you should have a completely clear sky for it. As they put more satellites out, it gets better coverage. And here we have the dish is moving on its own to point upwards. It will tilt, it will rotate, and everything. So there is no having to place the base a certain direction or facing it a certain way. The satellite dish, the Starlink, will do it itself. They have truly made it very, very, very simple. Using the app on the phone, it will open up your Wi-Fi. As you can see, the dish spinning here to situate itself to be able to see the most satellites. But when you run the Starlink app, you will pull up and connect to the Wi-Fi access point simply named Starlink. Once you do that in the app, it will prompt you to give your unit its own unique name and the password of your choice. Once you set that, that becomes your access point's name for the Wi-Fi. It could not be any simpler, which is a shame. Working in the computer and IT field, it's nice when people call me to come out and help them set up their equipment, because then I make some money. But SpaceX is making this so simple that is truly plug and play, as everything else in the IT world has become. All the computers, all your peripherals are plug and play. We're waiting on to finish configuring and booting up. And initially, the dish may be pointing straight up for a while, but eventually it will start tracking the satellites to get better data coverage. Now, I do have both. This is, like I said, showing the RV version. I do have the home version. There is absolutely, positively no difference between the two. The hardware is exactly the same. I'm averaging 3 to 6 seconds of disconnection every 12 to 24 hours back at home. So it's very stable. And my home is in Opelousas, Louisiana. It is outperforming what my DSL internet service was to AT&T. And now we see the dish itself is moving to get a better connection to the satellites. You may see a prompt on your phone of a software update, and when you click that update, you think the app crashes, and you say okay. But it doesn't really crash. It just X's out, as you can see on the screen there. And what it's doing is that the receiver is then downloading that update, and it will apply the update and reboot. So it will take a few minutes. You may be still connected to your satellite while it's still downloading that update. So just give it time. If you open the app back up again and it's still downloading, it's still going to show the update available. So you might think there's an issue clicking on it over and over again. But just be patient. Wait for the receiver to reboot. You'll see that in the app. It'll eventually say offline, and when it's offline, it'll be rebooting. It's pretty simple. I have to give SpaceX a lot of credit for that. They have made internet service setup as painless as possible and very reliable and affordable. the price range, you know, 100 bucks a month for the internet service that I'm getting through Starlink is well worth it. The RV version, I am paying $135 a month. It's not all that much more for a mobile unit. And like I say, with the RV unit, if you're going a few months without it, you can suspend service for those months and not pay that $135 a month. So theoretically, you can throw the RV unit in the closet for a year and not pay anything for it. Now, I do notice when I put the RV unit, the Wi-Fi unit itself, near the home unit, it initially prompted me if I wanted to set up as a mesh network, which was interesting because that means that the router is both a mesh device and a router. Very simple. And I was just showing you there, there's just a single power light on the bottom. There's no lights on the front. The icon, the symbol on the front of the router is the Mars Earth intercept points for traveling to Mars, in case you're wondering. Once the satellite comes back up, and it should be back up by now. Yeah, it's saying it's booting up, it's connected. So we're going to go through and do a quick speed test. I usually recommend you wait a little bit for it before you do a speed test. I'm going to use a third-party app that I find very reliable. I'm connected to the Wi-Fi of the access point. So for my first little test, I am getting a very nice 100+ megabytes download speed, peaking. So averaging about 100, and upload speed I'm getting 20-30 megabytes, peaking, averaging around 10 or 12 megabytes. So it's definitely good. Now, if you have your own home router, this is the Ethernet adapter. It simply plugs in between. You plug this cable into the router, and you plug the satellite dish cable into the other end, and then you have an Ethernet port. Very simple. Then you plug it into your computer or your router, your own router, and you're all set to go. It could not be any easier. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching.